This video is yet another attempt to answer, even lay to rest, the ancient philosophical question of what is consciousness. It is evidently a very sticky one. Consciousness has, for instance, been said to be the castle keep, the core essence of true mentality, that most central of all mysteries, the greatest of all the problems confronting man, a riddle wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, to which we can add Thomas Huxley's how anything so remarkable as consciousness comes about as a result of irritating nervous tissue is as unaccountable as the appearance of the jinns when Aladdin rubbed his lamp. We obviously need to take it slowly and carefully. Question for the listener: do you yourself have consciousness? Assuming that your answer is yes, then you already do know what consciousness is, since you say you have it. So what is the problem? The problem is philosophical. Philosophers haven't yet been able to agree to a statement of the form, consciousness is blah blah blah. This already cuts it down to size. Leaving aside consciousness itself for the moment, consider conscious ofness, being conscious of specific things. An exercise. Look around you and tell me, is there anything you see that you cannot say you see? Obviously not, since I asked you to tell me something you cannot tell me. Everything I am conscious of is something I can say I am conscious of. And conversely, everything I can say I am conscious of is evidently something that I am conscious of. Consciousness is verbal accessibility. I am conscious of what I can say I am conscious of. Imagine that a friend and I are looking at a tree. "See that little bird?" he asks. "What little bird?" I say, not being conscious of any little bird. Then I look where he is pointing and become conscious of it. But the little bird's reflected light photons were reaching my eyes all the time. So why wasn't I conscious of it? To understand this, we need to look briefly at how the brain works. Light photons arrive at my retinas, sending neural impulses to the visual cortex of my brain. There, groups of interconnected neurons called perceptrons give an output impulse on receipt of a specific input impulse pattern. My tree perceptron fires on receipt of a tree neural impulse pattern. My little bird perceptron on receipt of a little bird impulse pattern, and so on. The information arriving at my visual cortex, however, far exceeds what my verbal cortex, the seat of my conscious ofness, can handle. There has to be a filter, analogous to a social media algorithm. Out of all the inputs arriving at my visual cortex, it chooses which to pass on to my verbal cortex for me to become conscious of. In this case, my consciousness filter first blocked my little bird input. Then after my friend pointed it out, it allowed it. Getting back to consciousness itself, rather than saying that I am conscious of something, I can alternatively say that I have consciousness of it. So what is this consciousness that I say I have? Well, evidently it isn't anything. It is a figure of speech, a verbal convenience. Rather than saying that I am conscious of things, I vary it a bit and say that I have consciousness of them. We can define consciousness as what one is said to have when one can say one has it. When I am awake and can say, I have consciousness, I am said to have it. When I am asleep or in a coma and cannot say I have consciousness, I am said to have lost it. Although how, being unconscious, I am expected to find my lost consciousness again is not explained. But you've only been playing around with words, someone might object. You haven't said what real consciousness is, the sort I experience myself as having. So what is this real consciousness that you experience yourself as having? One asks. I don't know, he says. That's why I'm asking. So what he wants to know is what it is that he wants to know what it is. This is evidently another decidedly sticky one that we had best duck out of right now, leaving it as an exercise for the reader. Anyway, if, as he says, he experiences real consciousness himself, then again he does know what it is. So why is he asking us? So whatever happened to the greatest of all problems confronting man, the riddle wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, Well, I don't know. It must be around somewhere. Where was it last seen? At the end of the day, consciousness is a word. It takes a sapiens to coin a word and then complain to himself that he hasn't the first idea what he means by it. As they say on the web, OMG. For anyone interested, this and other videos are on my YouTube at Jeremy Fiennes 9331, with text versions on my academia page. Googling Academia Jeremy Fiennes should get to it.